Hey, this is Michael, and we're transitioning from week 7 to week 8. And if you've taken a look at assignment 3, and I hesitate to call these assignments because I do want to reiterate all of this is practicing the ability to understand how information is organized in a data related topic, right? So you chose the topic, which is on purpose. I want you to do something that you have some interest in rather than just assigning you a topic. I would also say one of the fun things about the design of this class is that I like to be iterative because you don't have to necessarily be right or correct. You're really experimenting with different ideas. And at this point, there's a lot of personal exploration that you can do about your topic because we're trying to get one level higher. As we go back here, you see this pyramid is on purpose. We're still at the information stage. And in fact, what's more interesting about this week into next week is that almost all of this work that you've done is kind of your own research, right? Like if you're an IA, you've been doing the data, the pattern, and taxonomies and so forth. Really, all of that is work that you do and judge yourself internally by doing. It's hard to show it to somebody else, especially users or even other people on your team. Designers may or may not have a opinion at this point, but you're doing the work behind the scenes, okay? So there's a very important distinction I wanted to make between nouns and verbs. Nouns are taxonomies, just like HTML. These are words you rarely get to make up, right? Like you really must respect that most of the world has been organized before you got here, and that's why I kind of threw this in just because I do like this graphic, right? That you're in the arrangement part, and now you're going to begin to visualize it, and hopefully I think this week also got you to give this concept of what's the point, right? What is someone trying to do? So, what were the ideas? Well, one big idea, and I'm just going to say this right off the bat, is you're probably going to use some sort of navigation tabs, some sort of tabs in order to present your verbs, hopefully, at the top level of your screen. So someone chooses one of those, and then they're going to get some other kind of navigation. So really, this week is kind of a warning. Like the more of these things that you have, the more things you have to fit on the screen. That's again, it's fine at this point to not realize that and have to adjust later. That indeed is the point of some of these exercises. I don't want to give you uh, the model of what to do, although I do hope that you look at each other's work, right? So someone comes in and sort of puts most of their database options on the screen, you might just follow suit. And then that's fine until you get my feedback, which is actually you're trying to reduce the amount of things that people need to choose. 100% that's supposed to that's supposed to be a learning moment, right? Like it's fun. And also one big reason why we're doing this fidelity is it's pretty easy to change your mind. Like you can just go in and delete all this stuff. Like none of this is a huge investment of time, and that's going to be true of this upcoming week with Wireframe. So if you have not gotten feedback from me, please look at similar things that are happening. I'm one of the big gotchas of this week into next week is I hope you all realize that you're actually working on the same problem, so to speak. Your words will change, but that's cool, right? Like it's really more nomenclature. You're not going to invent a new style of navigation. Trust me. Like there are very few new inventions. You're trying to leverage existing patterns in order to tell your story, right? So just like a story, it's just different words. They all, it's a different arrangement. I don't know, something profound or not profound. So this week we're going to actually begin to visualize it. And this is when you can actually show somebody else your idea, right? Someone may be able to, although I've been in millions situations where people hate wireframes, and the reason why I'm going to solve that problem is coming up in the next week, okay? We are still only at information. I know this is disappointing, right? But we have not gone higher because going higher is going to require something new to happen. And we'll get there when we get there. So don't worry, we're going to get there. But that's what you're going to learn as it comes to how do you leverage all of these ideas in your final paper. And the final paper is really going to start with data. You're going to just to remember, the thing is you're going to describe the database because I know you're going to know exactly what's in the database. You're going to know exactly what the taxonomies are. You're etc. You're going to you can look at the HTML structure and see how do they group things. So there's going to be everything is going to be part of that analysis that you're going to do. I've gotten some links in here. If you're not familiar with wireframing, it really is kind of as it's stated. There's some question here about interactivity, which is always a tease for next week. So I just want to make sure you're thinking about it. And then we've already got someone's put some stuff in it. It's Katie, right? Yeah. So cool. Thanks, Katie. I'll give you some feedback in a minute. So take a look. She's using pencil and paper, which I think is perfectly fine. And in fact, I even have a whole, once again, I've got videos of me doing this stuff, right? So here I am. We're going to be using Figma. There's some rules here, and yeah, hopefully everything kind of fits in. Actually, do I have a video of me wireframing? I'll double check. Maybe I don't. But yeah, hopefully there's enough to go by. Here's a little bit of a thought process about filtering, right? Like once you've chosen something, do you have to just show things in a list? It's just ideas. And yeah, so there we go. That's week 7. Week 8, we will finalize with an extra step. But to be clear, oh, also, yeah, there's a way that you can take your Airtable and populate. That's pretty fun. No one has ever done this, but this technique is really cool because then you don't have to do a lot of the hard work. But that's neither here nor there. Right now, we're just trying to get some visual. You're going to take a screenshot of it. By the way, if you're not familiar with Figma, there's an export function. You select your frame and then you export it. And as with all of the tools that we're using, my hope is that even if you're not familiar with Figma, that it is helping you. It is, in a sense, also collecting data, and that might be too meta. But remember, this is just a database. This mural, right? It has just different data types, and it has different ways of behaving based on that. So remember, these are all actually illustrating information architecture, and Figma does as well. But the tool is really about legibility and boxes and arrows and so forth. So you don't have to get too focused on design at this point. What I'm looking for is where's the navigation? What does your record look like? Actually, that is the big one right now. Is like, what does your record actually look like? You can go back to your HTML and you can start to see, do those structures help you visualize it at all? They should. And we'll see. And I'm looking forward to feedback. So please, as always, try to contribute early because all of this is part of assignment 2. You're going to show your progression, right? You're going to have a sitemap, which, by the way, you're welcome to change. It does not have to be complicated, the sitemap. It really just has to reflect like what are the major choices that you want to put on this screen. So I'll leave it at that. Hopefully that was helpful. Look forward to your contribution.